Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to FM22. It's Youth Factory. We're on episode 28. Following a continued run, we have not lost for a little while now. 8 straight without a loss. Only 3 wins during that stretch, 5 draws. So it's, not like we're looking great or anything. But not having lost in a while and continuing that after playing the second place squad in the league. Scoring early with Bergam. They get it back just 5 minutes later, but then hanging on for the entirety of the match to not give up any more goals to keep that streak alive was pretty massive for us. It's only 1 point at the end of the day, but every single point right now is valuable. So we have 5 left to play. The next 2 really difficult matches again. Stayback 4th place in the league, and then the league leaders at home. And then you go to 6th place away, where at least you have a little bit better shot of grabbing a point. Kongsvinger, who are now all the way down to 12th place, they are absolutely plummeting, partially because they had played so many games already. Everybody else is playing around them while they're sitting on those extra games, having already played them a while ago. And it's causing them to fall even more so than just how their form is looking right now, which is definitely not good. But then the league leaders again. So these 2 games before the end, I think, are our most likely place to look at and find some additional points. If we can get anything, even 1 draw out of these next 2, that would be pretty huge for our survival. Now, speaking of for our survival, we're only 2 points clear right now, but Kongsvinger, they only have 3 matches left. We have 5, and 1 of those matches are going to be head-to-head. That is one of our areas of strength in what remains in the season. A +6 goal differential compared to them, another area that we have that little bit of an advantage. Saying also just 2 points behind, 2 goals behind, and they sit on the same number played. The other good thing, the other little thing that's going to push us in the direction of maybe seeing survival is that Ranheim and Floro have both played 22 each. Technically, though, Floro, even though they've only won 2 games this season, technically they could win out. They could win all 4. That means they have 12 points that they could score. That's 27. So right now, 27 is safety for at least beating 1 relegation side. It does not mean that you're going to avoid relegation. So right now it's still all totally up in the air. Every position relegation-wise is still out there. And, even then, we still could score another 15 points. It's not going to happen. We're not going to get to 39. We're not going to suddenly find ourselves in 2nd place. Okay? Let's just get that established. Neither will Floro win 4. But there will be points scored. And let's see how the first 2 matches go. And then we'll assess things with the remainder of the season getting a lot tighter at that point. The math is going to start to clear up. So 2 matches just a handful of days apart. And the result, well, it's mixed. It's mixed. We got some points, and it's huge. But what we also got is Bergam out for the remainder of the season. So the first match, we were trailing 2-0. I don't know when exactly the injury happened, but you can see that it happened here. Bergam out for 7 to 8 weeks following that injury. We get a consolation goal from Lovas with about 10 minutes to go, but it's not enough. So we come out with nothing from that one. But against the league leaders, we took a 1-0 early lead through Lovas. Boyedchiev, who played in place of Bergam, gets the winner with 10 minutes to play, and we do hang on to that one after they had equalized a little over an hour in. But a massive 3 points with now 3 to play. Let's check back in to see where things stand, because now our chances of getting a result out of either of those 2 upcoming matches got a whole lot harder, a whole lot worse with Bergam out. So we might have to kind of sit on our hands a little bit and see what happens. Asain and Kongsvinger both have accumulated 1 more point. Kongsvinger only played once, where we played twice. So we can see that that's closed our gap on them a little bit, but we're now 4 points clear. In fact, we're ahead of Arendelle at the moment in 9th place, which is certainly a good place to be. We still have a tiny chance of finishing all the way up in 7th. I'm really not thinking about that. I'm still paying very, very close attention to the drop. Now, speaking of Ranheim, Floro with 3 left to play, 9 points possible. 9 points for Floro would be 25. They will not catch us. We have eclipsed what they are capable of. Ranheim, on the other hand, can get to 28 still. They can still get to 28. We have 27. It's not over yet. But them to win 3 when they've only won 4 all season, not looking good for them. Definitely not looking good. So likely, the math is still there for them, but likely we're looking at us, Arendelle, Assen, and Kongsvinger with 1 of 4 teams going down. Now, we have that head-to-head with Kongsvinger. If they beat us, right, that still doesn't mean a whole lot for them, but it's going to be necessary. I mean, looking at their 2 matches left, they have to win against us. I think that much is, for them, fully required. It puts them within 1 point of us. It could put them ahead of Assen. It could put them ahead of Arendelle, potentially with goal differential, depending on how much they win by. And of course, Arendelle would be needing to lose. If they say lose all 3, then they're at best -10. Kongsvinger beating us would, with one other match, right, would be at least sitting -8 from the win, and then depending on what happened to the other. So Kongsvinger, I think, are going to be looking at the match against us as their biggest hope for what could happen in the season. But they have one other match too. Now, we have 3 to play. We have a chance to get a point or 2 somewhere, and I think that would just about do it. I was saying that I figured the safety would be about 1 point per match, which is 26. We're above that now. We have 27. I still am not convinced that it's quite enough just yet, but I think 1 to 2 more points is absolutely safe. 27 might be safe already. I'll feel a lot better if we can get something, especially like, say, 1 more win. Getting to 30 would definitely be enough. When I say getting to 30 would definitely be enough, mathematically, guaranteed. Mathematically, it's guaranteed if we get to 30. Kongsvinger, if they win both, they'll have 29. Ranheim, if they win all 3, they'll have 28. So 30 would be enough officially, right? Without a doubt. So we're 1 win away from safety, and it's coming off of having beat the league leaders to get us in that zone. If we'd lost both of those matches, we'd be sitting on 24 points right now, and 1 point clear of the drop. We'd have a lot more to play for in these last 3, but that win was massive. How do we follow it up, though? 3 to play. Let's go ahead and get into the first of them. Possible safety against Ranheim for us, not for them, but for us, if they lose here to Bren. In fact, a draw would be enough for us. Let's see what happens with this one. Bren has won. Ranheim, at least to us, safety from relegation. Now we really and truly are in that scenario where there are just 4 teams left and only 1 going down. I'm really starting to like our chances. Now, our next match is one that I'm not going to play live. I'm going to go ahead and just get to what the results are. But Haugesund, who we're playing against, already had an early week game like Sunday or Monday, right? Not the normal Saturday fixture. Now they have a Wednesday fixture in the nations, like the FA Cup. So when we go to play them on Saturday, they're going to be really tired. really tired. You figure they'll have to, no doubt about it, have gone pretty deep, and they're going to make some changes, or they're going to have some really tired players. Either way, that's going to give us a little bit of a chance. We're going to be on the road at a good team, and maybe they have that depth, maybe they have that quality, but they definitely will not be at their best. That much is for certain, and that's going to give us at least a chance. Before I take my one-day vacation to find out what happens in this one, Haugesund, again, they've played multiple matches this week, so that's going to give us at least a little bit better of a shot, but we're on the road, and they're a good team. It's definitely not going to be easy. But if we were to win here, we would be mathematically safe. Meanwhile, the teams right behind us, the ones in 10th and 11th, the ones that are still among the four of us contending that final spot, Arendelle and Åsane play each other, so somebody's going to come away with a point or 3 points. There's something going to happen there, and Floro, who's already eliminated, at least compared to us, are on the road at Brand. Now, if they actually were to come away with the win, we'd have a tiny chance, especially if we won today. We'd have a tiny chance of passing Brand. 7th is still the ceiling for us. And it is not a win. We lose 2-0, even though we had 70% of the possession. 10 shots compared to their 6. The XG definitely went their way. And suddenly everybody around us is locked in tight. Brand beat Floro. They are relegated. Ranheim is now relegated. And we are 1 point above Åsane and Arendelle both. Åsane overtaking Arendelle in the standings, so they were the ones who came away with that winner, equaling them on points and scooting ahead of them. We are 4 points clear of the drop. Kongsvinger haven't played. They have not played. We've caught up to them in games played now, and we're only 4 points ahead. And that's who we play in our next match. And then the league leaders who we play in the final match. Now, we've already beaten them, and recently they're very unlikely, especially if they are still fighting for a title. And as tight as it is at the top, they probably will be still competing for the title. Therefore, they're going to be desperate to win against us. Now, does that mean they're capable of collapse? Absolutely. So we could see a win in either match. One more will do it. Not losing against Kongsvinger should also do it. We would keep a 4-point edge over them, and we'd have one to play. So yes, a draw or win against Kongsvinger in our next match will be enough. But we are going to be massively shorthanded. Shocking development, because I thought Kongsvinger, for us it's our next match. Figured it was their next match. It's not. We are their final match of the season. Yes. Did not expect that, okay? Did not expect that. And look who they have to play in their other match. So they and us, in terms of the remaining 2 teams that you have to play against, we have identical schedules. One head-to-head and one match against Lillestrøm and on the road. If they lose this, though, that's it. Even if they beat us, they can't catch us. I did not know that was going to be the case. Completely catching me off guard. Here's the thing. Oh, and they've won! They've won! Holy crap! Okay, we are now 1 point clear of the drop. All 4 teams right there, neck and neck. If they beat us, they overtake us. Oh. Plot twist. Massive plot twist. For them, all they need is one more win, and they are guaranteed safety. They'll be ahead of us. That doesn't mean that we would be relegated. It could still be Åsane, it could still be Arendelle. But for them, they have done what they needed to do to this stage. Lillestrøm had one extra match to play, and they just burnt it. And now they're only 1 point clear of the 2 chasers, meaning for them, the math is simple. Win your last 2 matches and you win the title, which means they're going to be desperate to win against us. Their room for error just went away. Our room for error just went away. with a 67th minute goal by Steinstedt. Now, 2 weeks ago, as we were preparing for this match, things looked a little worse than they look now, but they still don't look good. They really, really do not look good. Severede out on yellow card accumulation. Ostby out for the second time this season on yellow card accumulation. Yes, our best player is going to miss. Oh, and our second best player is going to miss as well. Bergham's still out. He might be good to go for part of our final match of the season. But Lillestrøm's not the team where we need to be getting points. It's today. First and foremost, we need to avoid losing. But we're missing one of our two best defenders. We're missing our best midfielder and best player overall. And we're missing our best attacker. Okay. A week ago, I had two players out on international duty, so Sabani was unavailable, so I was worried that we were going to be without him as well, but fortunately that duty ended. He's back with the team, and we have him back at least. We also had a minor injury with another player, but they're okay. That was Norheim. He's fine. He's healthy. He's good to go. Okay. Right. Wish us luck. And we have it all to do. Everything is stacked against us. We have two advantages. One, we are playing at home. Two, we only need a draw. Beyond that, everything is in their favor. They had hit a bad run of form, but they're a good team. They're a mid-table team. They've won their last two, and they are healthy and showing their stuff, and they're found their form, and they are looking to get 3 more points to get to safety. Meanwhile, we are the team that it was always stacked against us. We were always the relegation favorite. We were always the ones that everybody expected to lose. And now, especially, the expectation is there when we are missing so many key players in this one. Let's see what we can do. Can we hang on? It's already 7 minutes played. Jakobsen finds Kalzi, finds Al. Al tries to turn, but he ends up going for the long ball, and we're switching play over to the other side. Pena inside, back inside to Norheim, tripped, and a goal for Christopher Al, his 3rd of the season, 7th minute, and we lead 1-0. Ripped down in the box, that very well could have been a penalty. I think that's a leg that he sticks out there. Oh yeah, he's Engelsvold gets away with what would have been a clear penalty as he rips out the legs from underneath Al Salih, but Al is there to pick up the free ball and slots it into the upper corner, and we lead 1-0. And then we almost immediately give up the answer back the other way. Not much power on that one, but it certainly had the accuracy, but Sabani gratefully hangs on to it. Al Salih forcing the turnover. Kalzi okay in possession at the moment, but we lead early on, and this is so huge. That's a very pivotal goal, because again, we don't have to win today, we just have to not lose. Al Salih over the top, and there is 2! His first goal for the team at the senior level. Oh my goodness, he was with the youth level a year ago. We left him there to get a little more development. He is just onside, that is well timed, and he's got it in the back of the net, and it's 2 in 15 minutes. Yes! Yes, boys! 2 shots on target, 2 balls in the back of the net, and we have come to play today. Life standings have us with 30 points on the season, and this would nearly provide us the security to finish in the position we are in now, which would be a top 10. Not guaranteed on that part, but it would get us awfully close to securing that. It would obviously give us the relegation safety as Kongsvinger. This is it. This is their last match of the season. They desperately need something. They could be facing relegation. That long ball, easy for Sabani. Sabani wasn't even far off his line, so not sure what that looks like. More, it was an attempted cross that just went way off target. Al Salih, good job in possession here. Fawoli finds Pena, finds Norheim. That's a good find. Good ball movement between those guys. And there's a layup and a third! Holy crap, Lavas! Yes! Yes, 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 yes! We're going to enter halftime up by 3 goals. Now we have to keep our heads and not give this thing up. Al lays it off for Lovas, who was making a run. He had to kind of pull back to make sure he didn't get offside because his run was from the Al Saleh ball. But after he made the pass to Al, he kind of checked his run a little bit. But yes, excellent finish. 3 shots on target, 3 goals. We don't even have a 1 in XG yet, but our finishing has been absolutely clinical here in the first half. Will we see out halftime with a 3-goal lead? That would make a big difference. For them, momentum could begin to swing. They will feel confident that something could happen if they get a goal. But Gillo with a terrible sticks a leg in there from a terrible position, and they've done exactly what they had to do before halftime. Now, being down 3-1 is a terrible position for them. But being down 3-0 is a billion times worse. Getting a goal before halftime for them gives them a legitimate shot. I mean, not only is 2 goals closer than 3, but it gives you momentum. It gives you a sense of belief, right? When you're down 3-0, all hope can feel that it's lost, especially on the road. Getting the last goal, even if it's from the penalty spot. Look at that. They'd had their .03 very, very early on. And then that, I mean, it came from absolutely nowhere. And it was one man against everybody else, and he was nowhere near a shooting opportunity. And that is entirely Gillo's fault. I don't think it was a bad call in any way, shape, or form. It's the correct call. Gillo totally effed up on that one and gave them a path back into this game. Second half underway. Let's go balanced. Let's try to get a few guys behind the ball a little bit here in the second half, but absolutely, we're not going to just drop. We are not going to invite them to begin attacking. It's only a 2-goal lead. Nothing secure about it. But certainly not a bad thing to keep somebody behind the ball. It would have been nice to have somebody behind Larson there and not have him wide open for a chance with the keeper. Savani makes an excellent save, and we clear out the corner kick. 10-3 on the chances. Each team with 3 shots on target, and they have more XG than we do, but of course all of that coming from that penalty. Deserved penalty, but still coming from the spot. Norheim over the top. Al Saleh's going to get there. He's going to get his chance. He does not get a goal, though. One more would really help us out. Hour has been played. An hour has been played. This is good. Time flying by. A quiet second half means they aren't impacting the game. 20 minutes to play, and our chances are looking that much better. 13 minutes now. Thinking about going a little more defensive here late. Al finds Al Saleh. Kalzi, Fawoli on a yellow, Pena on a yellow, and Gillo, of course, on his yellow from the penalty that he gave away. Nice through ball, Fawoli! Whew. That would have been close. He's got the keeper beat there, or nearly had the keeper beat there. And, okay, it's time. It is time. Time wasting. Let's go straight into a whole lot of it. And already by making that, we're kind of tying our hands on what to do from here. Let's go into the tactics. And I think we need to get Al Saleh. He's done well. He's got a goal. But I think we want to bring on some extra legs like Korsvold. We're going to bring on Korsvold. Here's the plan. Al Saleh is coming off. Let's go into the tactics. Korsvold. And Fawoli. Hey. There you go. 2 defensive mids. Lovas is going to play on top alone. Now we're going to go defensive, but we're going to keep the high line that we have, at least for the moment. All right, that is 1 substitution. We have 2 more to make. Time already ticking on by. There's Korsvold to intercept. That's good. Now, we might not get a goal from this kind of position, but we don't need a goal. We just need to not give up, 3 ultimately. But, 2. We don't want to give up 2 goals. That's the real objective here. Let's keep the 3 points. Win in style, right? Or win dirty, win ugly, whatever it is, just don't lose. Pena, Calzi finds Lavas. Lavas! Yes! That's going to seal it. His 14th of the season. It's 4-1. That's got to do it. Let's think about the next sub. Who to bring off? Al's playing really well. Norheim's playing okay. He's tired though. Let's see. Who do we have? Tutan to come on. That'll be substitution number 2. Okay, 89th minute. We have Pena on a yellow. Let's bring on... What do we have? We don't have an option. Let's get Boyedchiev in on top. Get some fresh legs to chase that ball down and keep some pressure on it. Pena all the way to the corner flag. Crosses to the other side. Ripped down in the box. Luis Roberto. Time's already up. He's going to get a second yellow. He is off. This thing's already sealed, but now we're standing on the penalty spot, and that was nowhere near where the ball was. The ball was 15 yards beyond that. Boyedchiev for the goal. 5-1. It was already sealed, but that is insult to injury. Gillo giving away the penalty was the only offense that they've mustered all day. Otherwise, it's been all us. Jakobsen recovers the ball. This should just about do it, and it does it. We are safe with 1 to play. It's really come down to the wire. What a difference a season can make. Of course, we've been climbing that ladder rung after rung, season after season. But finally, we find ourselves in that scenario where we're not fighting to win the league. We are fighting to not see the drop and drop another rung, right? Up, right back into down. No, we are going to stay put, and we are going to try to see if we can make this team progress and get better, belong in this division, get mid-table, and get into a position where we can start competing at the top. But that's going to take development. We will be doing a check-in to see how much more development we have now than before, because of course we did give that little bit of a nod to the training. It was a level 1, now it's a level 3. How much more has there been in the second half of this season in terms of development? Has it given any players a kickstart? Kongsvinger have not officially been dropped at this stage. Arendal +4 goal differential, but on same points. If Arendal lose both matches, at minimum they'll have a -10. It could get worse than that. So Arendal and Asane for that matter, but Asane's a little bit better off, a little more unlikely for them to see the goal differential necessary for either of those two to go down. Kongsvinger is the likely team to see the drop, but not guaranteed. But we've done it. We reached 30 points this season, and we have 1 to play. There have been some surprises to wrap up the season, but it's been at the top of the standings and not at the bottom. Lillestrøm hang on. They got a draw with us. Haugesund, the real surprise, they went from 6th to 2nd in the final month of the season on 46 points. Molde slipping out of their spot on the final day. Stabæk had a chance, and they lost. They lost to Haugesund 2-1 in that final match of the season. So really surprised as to how that one went, as they were looking at being equal on points with Lillestrøm, and instead Haugesund beat them and then claimed second themselves. All those second and third teams, though, right at the top of the standings, and that really shows just how strong. The top 8 positions in the league were all second squads. Of the 4 independent clubs, we ended up finishing 9th, 10th, 11th, and dead last. And Kongsvinger did end up finishing in 12th place. Arendal getting a result on the final day of the season against Floro. That was enough to push them comfortable, clear in 11th. Mathematically, they were nearly there anyway. Even with a loss, if they would have lost by 1 goal, they would have been at a -10. That would have been enough anyway, but they definitely weren't secure. If Floro went out and crushed them, That would have been it. They would have been relegated. So there was still plenty to play for on that day, but things stayed put. And we, with 31 points after getting one more draw, finished with 7 wins, 10 draws, 9 losses. So a near 500 season, just a -1 in the goal differential department. So we were almost mid-table. Not quite. But then we were also almost relegated. In the end, it was 5 points clear, but we know that it was a whole lot closer than that down the wire. 2 very noteworthy things as we go to wrap up this season. First off, our budget this season was about 110K. We were only spending 58,000 of that. But our finances have continued to deteriorate. You can see we're now at 917,000 in debt once again. Of course, we're already paying back one large loan that was taken out. That was $750,000. So that was taken a long time ago when we were about 760,000 in debt at the time. And we're even further in debt now. We're going to have to take another sizable loan or something. Something's got to change. Otherwise, these finances are just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Speaking of, now our situation for next season is looking worse. Our budget this year was 110K, and we were well below that. But our budget for next season is right where we're at right now. 59,000, and we're at 58. We have 1,000 to spare, and that's it. Which means if somebody starts asking for a contract, I can't actually just step up and give it to them. We've slowly been building the payroll through that. We have a number of expiring contracts coming up this year. I'm expected to kind of step up the payroll periodically. We're already the lowest in the league. Not by much, but we are the lowest in the league in terms of salary. And now we're expected to have 0 increase going forward because of the finances for the club are so bad. That's a big ouch. That's a big ouch. That's a big constraint that I don't know what to do. I mean, we, as a group a while ago, you were close to saying yes to money, but ultimately just barely no. It wasn't by 50%, right? 65% said yes, let's inject some cash into the club, but couldn't agree on the amount, so we did nothing. And then as I diversified the options, you said, okay, let's upgrade the training facilities, and that was a majority. It wasn't 50% then either, but it at least was a not do nothing. And so we did a tiny upgrade to the training facilities, but we right now are still in desperation mode when it comes to the finances. Now, I'm okay with stalling out at the 3rd tier for a little while as we improve and build for the future. Is the squad improving? That's a big test. Ostby, now at an 85, so he's definitely still improving. Berkham at a 75. He was high 60s at the start of the season, I believe. So he has seen some improvement. In fact, I think mid-season he was at about a 68 or something like that. So he's definitely seeing some improvement now that we have made that small increase. Foley's still at a 70. He was a 69 of 77 when he came up. He's been at a 70 for the last season or two. I mean, he's only 17, but because he's got a very limited ceiling, he does not have much room for improvement. Gillow has definitely improved. He was about a 62 when we upgraded the training facilities. So it looks like it's not everybody, but there's quite a few players above a 60 now. There's quite a few players making progress. Calzi is training really well lately, and we're starting to see him climb. He was in the 50s and now a 61. So, okay, it's happening. Okay, it's not rapid, but it's happening. There are more players developing than there were before. It was 1 or 2 guys out of the entire team, out of the entire roster. We are now seeing a number of players with small gains. And small gains means you go forward season by season. Eventually, this team's going to get good enough to climb out of the 3rd tier and get into the 2nd tier. They might be there for a while, but it'll happen. If I have to speed seasons up again, we'll speed seasons up again. Especially if we get comfortable, right? If we are a mid-table team next season because of development, okay. Well, that could be a pretty quick season. We don't have to play as many matches if we're not desperate to avoid relegation. And if we're not competing for a title. And when we get to that point where the team has developed enough, then, that's fine. But short term, I'm terrified about our finances. What's going to happen? Do we just get another loan and that gets us secured okay for now? But when and where does some sort of financial boost occur? The loan keeps us afloat, but it doesn't help with now the deteriorating situation where they're saying you cannot spend money on the roster. We can't sign players already as it is, but if they put us in a situation where we can't even afford the players we have, we're in a bit of trouble. So something's got to give. But we are seeing at least a little bit of improvement in the squad, and that is what we've been needing all along. I don't need a rapid, right? I don't need a bunch of guys at 100 plus tomorrow. What I do need is signs of progress. We didn't really have it for the longest time. As the staff got better, we saw a couple players improve. Ostby, the most notable of those. Ostby was somebody who was high 50s, and now he's all the way up to 85. I mean, that is by far the player who has seen the most progress in his career. Now just 21 years of age, but very much a player who's seen plenty of progress. But not everywhere. I mean, look at those technical attributes. There's a whole lot of -1s in there. A lot of them. But his penalty taking went +5. His concentration, his mental attributes are going up. Vision +3. His physical attributes have gone up. His strength +4. Acceleration +3. So he has definitely gotten better. But technically, I mean, especially if you exclude the penalty taking, he's a little worse technically than he was before. His finishing is a 4. Ouch in that department. But at least we are seeing some progress. So, step 1, survive relegation. Check. Step 2, is the team progressing? It's moderate, but yes, so check. Those big things have happened. But number 3 on that list, is the team stable? And the answer is a huge no. Massive no. We have no answer to the financial situation. Will there be new sponsorship coming in next year? I don't see how, because our corporate facilities are still a level 1, meaning we just don't find good sponsorship. So maybe that's the next tick, right? Next set of options, what to do going forward, because there's something has to give about the finances. It's not happening on its own, not at this stage. Our financial situation, especially now that they're cutting the payroll budget, is just deteriorating. It's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So we're still looking at potential stadium increase. We're looking at maybe increase the corporate facilities so we could bring in more sponsorship money to help stabilize things a little bit. Or we could still wipe the slate clean. I mean, we could still give the team a small amount of cash to get out of debt. Doesn't fix anything, but it at least takes care of the current situation that sees us really, really, really bad off. We are very much a team that's insecure. Are we a team that's going to face administration at some stage? Possibly. We'll give it a little time. Let's see what happens this coming season, but I feel like that's still something that we might have to address at some point, hand of God style, because it's not happening on its own. And this is a club in a very, very bad way, especially now that they are taking a huge cut to our salaries, which was already way lower than everybody else around us. When you only have a stadium that seats 100, you only have a stadium that seats 100. And we have not been a club that has somehow figured out a way to secure finances, right? We took one loan out and it didn't even get us out of debt at the time. It was slightly less than what the debt was at that moment. So it did nothing to alleviate our situation. But maybe the next one to come along will finally not only get us out of debt, but give us a small amount of finances at the time that could be invested into the club somehow, right? So it does more than just alleviate the immediate concern, but does something to help the club long term. We'll see. That's going to do it for this season. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.